Lewis, Frick, the Cosmic Trilogy, a long road trip that starts with snacks, and you get to see some cool stuff. For the first quarter, and the second quarter, things kind of get really boring and slow down. You don't see anything cool anymore. And then the last half, you end up with a flat tire, and the windows roll back up, and your engine light's on, but you end up getting to your destination after a long, long time, and where you were going, you realize wasn't fun anyway. Alright, The Cosmic Trilogy by Clive Staples Lewis, or, as you may know, C.S. Lewis. Well-known author of the Narnia series, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, etc. Also the Screwtape Letters. Something that will come into play here that is also very well known for the most part about C.S. Lewis is a very devout Christian. So, let's get into it. Sci-Fi Trilogy. The release dates for those three books. So the first one, Out of the Silent Planet, came out in 1938, and then Paralandia was 1943, and then That Hideous Strength in 1945. This edition was released in 1989, which is all three of them together, the Cosmic Trilogy. Those are the basics. So keep in mind, again, we're in the late 30s, early 40s here when these were put out. Wow. I've got a lot to say, but also kind of not a lot to say. So, it's boring, it's confusing, it's long-winded. I don't think anything I'm going to tell you is spoilers. I don't really think there's any spoilers here. There's a couple things that, you'll find out within a couple pages. So, Out of the Silent Planet takes up the first quarter of all the pages here. And so that novel was decent. It was just like, it was kind of a run-of-the-mill fantasy, sci-fi, not fantasy, but more sci-fi book of just like exploring another planet. I mean, I'm not giving away spoilers in case you read it, but basically finding yourself on another planet and returning to Earth. You were on Earth, and you were on another planet, then you're back on Earth. You run into some alien races and cool stuff and whatever, and it's pretty just like by the book. Like, it's just, paint by numbers, sci-fi of the time. I don't even think it was that original of an idea at the time. It was entertaining enough. And if I had stopped there, I would have been okay. But then I went into the second book, Paralandia, which it's basically just Adam and Eve on a different planet. That's all that it is. It is just a really long telling of like the Garden of Eden. And like it's just a symbol and metaphor for Adam and Eve and that whole experience in the Garden of I can't even think of names right now, but yeah, the Garden of Eden, and it's just like this weird thing, and there's a lot of mental struggle. It's really boring. It's super boring. It's a lot of just like, honestly, there's like stumbling around in the dark that happens, and it takes pages and pages and pages and pages to discuss someone stumbling around in the dark. And it's literal and metaphorical, but like, it's ridiculous. The last book, which takes up like the last half of the pages here, That Hideous Strength, oh my goodness. This is where the confusion comes in. You don't even, like, it's on Earth. It's just all on Earth. It's all on Earth. So, like, it ceases to be this, like, extraplanetary thing. And all of a sudden, I'm just going to, this is like a little spoiler of a book you'll never read. I'll just put it for a second, and then we'll get at Merlin shows up. Merlin, like the wizard. He just ends up being, like, this massive character in the book. They, like, uncover Merlin on Earth, and he somehow has to help with all this alien weirdness going on. And there's like, basically, okay, no more spoilers, I don't know, whatever. Basically, this third book is on Earth, and it's kind of like secret agency mystery type stuff. It's not a science fiction book anymore. It's not. It's just like Merlin gets uncovered and he helps them, the good guys, win the day. It's weird and awkward mystery thriller, but super boring, super long, incredibly long-winded, very dry. Yeah, this is a book that I wish I didn't read. Is it important? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What function does it serve? This kind of goes hand in hand with target audience. So the first one is entertaining enough, but I feel like there's way more exciting science fiction novels that were written and will be written and have been written. It's just for that time, again, it's not even original for the time. It's just like, yeah, a dude in space and meets aliens and learns about their culture a little bit and goes back home. There's more to it than that, but that's basically what it is. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want to read that by C.S. Lewis, then I guess that's for you. The second one, if you want a retelling of the Adam and Eve story in space, like on the planet Venus, which is just called Paralandia here. The first one, he's really on the planet Mars, but it's called something else. If you want a retelling of Adam and Eve, but in space, then I guess number 2 is for you. The second book, Paralandia. The third book, That Hideous Strength, what function does it serve? It's not really entertaining for me, but it's like this weird mystery that Merlin comes into play with, and it's not in a cool way. Like it feels like it's going to be cool once you realize like Merlin is there, and then it's like not really cool. Yeah. So shelf placement. I'm sorry, C.S. Lewis. This was a miss for me, and I'll be happy to get it off my shelf. It's coming off the shelf. I've taken it off my Goodreads already as that I own it. I'm going to go donate that somewhere to a little library. But yeah, it's off the shelf. It's just not going to serve any function or purpose, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. If it's like, oh, you like sci-fi? Like, check this out. No. I don't know who to recommend that to. It's a slog through and through. It's dry a lot of the time. It's so long-winded. I just don't know who I'd recommend it to, and I'll never read it again. So, I mean, like, if it was the last book on Earth, I'd read it, but I honestly would probably read the Bible before I would read this thing. Like, I'd rather read that all the way through than read this thing again. I'm pretty sure it'd be more rich and interesting. I don't know why I had it. It's just because of that Christian connection of just like that weird thing of like, let's do Adam and Eve in space. Anyway, there you have it. The Cosmic Trilogy. Out of the Silent Planet. Paralandia. That Hideous Strength, which sounds so cool but isn't. C.S. Lewis, The Cosmic Trilogy. Don't do it.